So what is it like exercising with Omnipod versus other devices? I certainly didn't miss having tubes hanging off of me or some big device in my pocket that was banging around. I play a great deal of tennis. I've done it even before I had diabetes. It helps now with my A1C. It helps with my mental health, stay a little bit more grounded and less stressed out. And it's just rewarding to work on something and get better at it. And that's with or without diabetes. So not having a device banging around in my pocket was awesome. I thought about tennis more and diabetes less. And just think about that for a second. That's a huge, huge deal. And that again is something that started when I started using Omnipod. But the real godsend for me, the real game changer was activity mode. With activity mode, I was able to really focus on what I was doing and put diabetes in the background. And before I started using activity mode, I would have these horrible seesaws, and I would go from like the 80s or the 70s up into the 300s or even into the 400s. And there's just no worse feeling than working out and then having to pound carbs afterwards, like milkshakes, candy, and Snickers. Not foods that you think of with diabetes, just to get normal again. And that sort of took the whole joy of working out away from me. And I didn't want to do it. There's no worse feeling than working out, putting in the work, and then having to pound carbs afterwards. It's sort of just like defeats the purpose. It made me super angry. It made me depressed. It made me think like, what's the point? And there's nothing spontaneous about it. And that all changed with activity mode. I found that as long as I go in with decent numbers, I just set the time length for my anticipated activity mode, or like how long I'm going to bike, how long I'm going to run, how long, in my case, I'm going to play tennis. And I then forget about it. There are no lows or extreme highs. There's like no Viking feast or smorgasbord that you're thinking about while playing tennis, because you're like, oh man, this is great, but am I going to go low? Like, am I going to go low? Do I have hypoglycemia unawareness, which many of us do? So you don't know if you're low. And so you're thinking about that instead of the activity. And with Omnipod and activity mode, I was able to get back to like sort of a pre-diabetes state of exercising and enjoying doing things like tennis, which is incredible. I also was able to put in like a higher target range, so I had a little bit more range. It's just a confidence thing, and I only did this after speaking with my doctor. But that gave me a little bit more confidence range, because when I work out, depending on my stress, I do go low. It sounds like no big deal, but activity mode was a life changer to me to exercise and then look at your blood sugar like 2.5 hours later, and you get all the benefits, the physical and mental benefits of working out, but you don't have to snarf down a bunch of calories. And doing that when you're just not hungry, it made me just feel better about myself. And I'm sure it also gave me more time in range. Really, I think you can sense this. Activity mode made me feel more like myself again. Like, it gave me some sanity.